be part of our legacy. And above all, it will save lives. And this was only possible thanks to the citizen initiative, My Voice, My Joe. So let me start by warmly thank the organizer. They did an amazing job. They have shown that citizen participation works, that democracy can deliver. For months, they built support across Europe around one clear goal: safe abortion for every woman in our union. And I have to say that I remember it like it was yesterday. The organizers came with a box full of letters and signatures in my office. I still have it, by the way. And their message was very clear and at the same time smart. Their message was a clear request: access to safe abortion for every woman in Europe, no matter where she lives, no matter how much money she earned. And smart because they respected the treaties. They knew health policy is a national competence and the Commission has limited room to act. But we can support Member States, we can accompany them towards a more equal Europe. The organisers ask us to support Member States that, voluntary and in solidarity, want to offer access to safe and legal abortion under their national laws, including to women from the Member States who otherwise could not access to abortion or afford it. And we worked hard, I have to say, we worked hard to give an answer that is just as clear and just as smart. And here it is. From now on, we are granting Member States the possibility to use EU funding, the European Social Fund, to improve access to abortion. This means support women who need to travel, support women in their own country, support women in remote areas, and support women without financial means. In practice, it means women will have better access to safe abortion care, any vulnerable women anywhere in Europe. And this is groundbreaking. We are putting the tools on the table, but now it is up to the Member States to use them. And, of course, we are ready to support them in accessing these funds. The European Social Funds Plus is a shared management a share-managed fund, both by the Commission and the Member States. EU money is made available to Member States to enhance access to affordable abortion, while Member States ensure the funds reach women seeking safe and accessible abortion. And I want to thank all those who supported this initiative, and in particular the European Parliament, for their clear backing, and my fellow commissioner, of course, for the constructive discussion that led to this strong and respectful outcome. This decision will change lives. And again, thank you to the organisers. We have walked this road together, and we will stay, of course, by your side. Yes, it has been a long journey, but it is not the end of the story. Now we must make sure Member States are fully aware of these tools, and we know that at least 10 have already backed this initiative. Now we must stay united and keep working together for the women in Europe. And this is, of course, urgent because nearly 500,000 unsafe abortions take place in Europe every year. This is 500,000 of women at risk, 500,000 women traumatized, 500,000 women who may carry lifelong consequences, and this is 500,000 too many. And this is not the Europe we want to live in. We live, of course, unfortunately, in a time when women's bodies have become political battlefields, when rights are being rolled back around the world, but Europe is standing firm. Next week, we will present our new gender equality strategy for the next 5 years. It will strengthen women's health and rights across Europe, including their sexual and reproductive health and rights, because this is the Europe we believe in. So today, my voice, my choice, wanted action, and Europe has acted, and we will continue to act. So stay tuned. The next step is our gender equality strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Unfortunately, we have time only for a couple of questions. I see so many hands raised. I invite you to use the microphone there in the middle of the room. Catherine is the closest, so you get the first question.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. The question I'd like to ask you is, you said that there are 10 countries that are potentially interested in this, but what I don't really understand is, if I say I'm a woman in, I don't know, Malta, who wants access to abortion, how would it work in practice? What would I do?
I would explain a bit how the ESF functions. So it's a shared management fund. Member states that have the legal framework to support abortions and that want to use ESF money to help women in vulnerable situations from other member states access safe abortions will create a project, to not go into technicalities, decide on the amount of money, the number of beneficiaries, and open the possibility for women in other member states to apply for support so that they can access in that member state the respective services. So the money that is put at the disposal of women is in the member states that, of course, have a legal framework and a healthcare system where abortion is legally offered. That is, of course, the framework. And the mobility happens from a country where abortion is not performed to a country where abortion is legal, is possible, and ESF money is mobilized to be able to support the costs of women in vulnerable situations in other parts of the European Union. This is not just for this kind of intervention. This is the mechanism that is used.
Next question, Blaž Mohorčić from Slovenian agency.
Hello, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I would have a question about the financing, because the ESF Plus ends next year. So I would like to know how it will be. Will be there also money to support safe abortion in the next MFF? Thank you.
Is programmed until 27, but the implementation of the money of the project goes until 29. And I tell you, from the situation on ground on how we are with the allocation, there's money available. Obviously, we're working with member states as they continue to spend them. So there are resources in the current MFF, and there is still time until 29. This is the system with these funds in shared management. It's until the last year, 27, plus 2 extra years. And in the next budget, what we proposed, but of course it's now with the Parliament and the Council, is that in the national and regional partnership plans, which are the cohesion country plans, let's say, a minimum 14% will be pure social investment. What ESF is now is social spending in the future plans. So in that framework, we propose the regulation for the future European Social Fund, where the types of interventions that are eligible now will be eligible in the future MFF. So there will be a continuity for all things that are now supported under ESF, on employment, on supporting vulnerable categories to access basic services, including healthcare, on education. Everything that we now support will continue to be supported under the next MFF. Of course, how much money will be available, that is to be seen after the negotiations.
And if I may add, this is why precisely we choose the ESF, because it's a big amount, it's a big instrument, who has been there for ages, I mean decades at least, and will continue. So we have the continuity, and the purpose is also cohesion, social cohesion. And so we are, and it's a shared management.
I have to underline the fact that this is a fund that supports vulnerable persons. Vulnerability of a person comes from different causes. And so, of course, this is a fund that, as I mentioned, supports people in poverty. Poverty means sometimes not being able to access education or healthcare, supports skilling and employment for workers. There are numerous types of interventions supported by this very old fund, this cohesion fund that we have. And the envelope currently, under the current MFF, is for all member states 140 billion euros. Of course, each member state has different amounts, but clearly this is a big envelope. And again, we stay inside this voluntary mechanism that the initiators of the My Voice, My Choice proposed. Member states under shared management exactly do this with ESF. It's not the Commission that dictates to them what they do with the money. We have a set of eligibility and objective rules, and then they decide how they allocate these resources. And of course, we have the letter of the 10 member states, maybe there are more. Those states and more have ESF allocations. These amounts are differ, but they are significant, much more than that was discussed in the public sphere, so they can for sure use it now and for sure in the next MFF, but let's see the numbers.
To give you an idea, the ESF Plus was 142.7 billion.
Is currently
In this mandate. We asked the same amount. And for Belgium, for a country like Belgium, it's 1.3 billion, 10 times more for Spain, and so on, depending on the population, of course. But what we wanted is a solid instrument, and this is this.
Thank you very much. Mose, Brussels Times, next question.
Thank you. I would like first to ask both commissioners, understand this is not a new fund, that's good, that seems very innovative, and obviously the money is not earmarked for this purpose, but still, did you make any estimations how much might be needed in the different member states? And relating to the previous question about, you said that at least 10 member states have agreed to it, because it's voluntarily, as you said. I mean, that what is most important, I think, is that exactly those EU member states which currently have restricted access to abortion, or even banned it, that they are in it, otherwise it won't serve its purpose. And the third question is more political, because you said here, health is, as you said, member states' competency, right? And here found a solution how to, let's say, a solution which not infringe on that member state competency, because it's a matter of women's rights, right? About fundamental rights. I wonder, can this be seen as a kind of prejudicate in another issue which concerns freedom of religion, especially your country, Commissioner Labib, Belgium, where there are problems with circumcision of boys, you know that, the law about this, and the Commission said, no, we can't interfere because of that, but here interfered somehow, found a solution which respects the Member States' competency while also ensuring fundamental rights. What is your opinion about that? Thank you.
Obviously, leave up to a commissioner to answer whether she won, but please let's dedicate this short press point to the topic of My Voice, My Choice, to the abortion.
You know, it is clear that health care policy, the way the member states organize their health care system, is under their responsibility. We are not trying to create a new law, a kind of European law. We are fully respecting the treaties and this famous Article 168 that we know by heart, which is very clear that it is up to the member state. That's why we propose this instrument. It is up to the member state to decide if they want to use it. And I'm sure many member states will use it. We will show them the way. We will accompany them. We will communicate on this. At least 10 member states decided to back this citizen initiative. It doesn't mean that it's only 10 member states. Maybe there are much more, but it was a first row, I have to say. And we are going to communicate how they can use this ESF and how the technical aspect can be managed, but it is up to them. So we are not creating any violation of the treaties and the member states' competence.
Thank you. We have time for one more question over there.
Hello. Yes. Hi, Umberto Bacchi from Agence France Presse. Just a quick clarification. Is this a new thing that you're granting to member states, new possibilities, or actually you're just clarifying what was already possible and to do with those funds? Thank you.
In terms of general access to healthcare for vulnerable categories, this was already possible under ESF. Of course, we can speak about oncological cancer treatments, about different types of interventions. But it is the first time that we are clarifying that yes, indeed, access to this kind of healthcare service, which is safe abortion for women, is possible, eligible, as it is technically said, under ESF. But obviously, the fund is the type of fund that supports already access to healthcare for vulnerable categories from other types of perspectives, I would say. So we clarify, I would say, we announce, we clarify that this is possible under this fund.
Thank you. Commissioner, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think that it's the first time that we say clearly it can be used for this purpose. It was not used in the past, and so we will accompany the member states who want to use it for that. And we propose a broad scope. I mean, all the costs, movement, transport, and so on. So it is, but of course, it is up to the member states to use it the manner they want, and we will organize. We are ready to share best practices and exchange between member states, following their rules, how they will use it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time with us, and we wish you a good afternoon.